We begin with the first question in the electronic part. It is to simplify trigonometric expressions. It's from lesson 11.1. Here we have got expressions, trigonometric expressions. All these can be easily solved in the calculator, and since it's the electronic part, you will have 4 options with you. Options are very important to have, otherwise you cannot solve these. So imagine these two are the options for the first one. Now, let's take our calculators and solve this up. First thing, you can see the calculator is in degree mode. It is very important for you to make the radian mode on. That is by pressing shift. You can see when I press shift, the S symbol is on. And now when I click on mode, I get these options. And then I click on 4 for radian, rad. That's the thing. If I just put mode, these are the options. But if I press shift and mode, I get this radian. So now we can see it's R, that is the radian symbol. That means the calculator is in radian mode. Now let me type this out. Look here, it's a fraction 1 minus sine square. Look, there are two types of squares over here. We cannot put after sine any square. Don't put over here inside the bracket. See, sine theta, right? So we'll write it as x. Theta is x for us. Don't put the square here. This is wrong. You'll get error because this means it's sine theta square. If it's sine squared, you have to write it outside. This is the thing. Or you can have some brackets if you want for sine itself, and this is also fine. But that is just extra bracket. See, down I'm just going to write simply sine x, close the bracket and square it up. This is it. Above and below both are the same thing. You do not need to put extra brackets, but if you want, you can see over here up above, but below is also correct. Now what you need to do is you need to calculate theta at certain value. Let's calculate it at, I'll just take it as 2. Okay, I calculated at 2. What is the value? 0.20945. Write it somewhere, or keep it in mind. It's better you guys write it somewhere in a piece of paper. And then look into the 4 options. Now I'm just going to write it out over here so that I can remember later. It is 0.20945. And you can write any number, but these are more than enough. 4 to 6 digits are enough. Now look into all the 4 options and solve them at the same the x value. The x value I considered was 2, right? So now I will start with secant. There's no secant option, but I can write 1 by cosine x, which is secant. Okay. Now let me calculate this at 2 as well. Am I getting the same answer? No. So this is the wrong option. Let's go to the next option. Let's try 1 by cotangent is 1 by tan x, close the bracket and square it up. Here you can see this matches. So this is correct option. Why? Because this is giving the same answer what we wanted, right? There's one more thing about the square here. I've put 1 by tan square, or you can write the square outside for the entire term. This is also correct. Or I can just put the brackets here. This is also correct. Now here, 1 square would be the same thing, right? 1 itself. So I'll just put the square down below. I'll just remove all this and I'll just put the square here. That is more than enough. Okay, this will be correct. So this is how we can solve this up. Now you must match it with the given question, and yes, it matches. So this is your correct answer. Let us do the next one. Here, what happens? Tan x, that is alpha x, close the bracket, multiply it with cosecant is 1 by sine x. Now I'm just going to calculate it at 2. Here you can see the answer is minus 4.6. And yes, we had got secant as well, the same answer just a while ago. Remember, 1 by cosine x, calculated at 2. It's at 2 only. So this is correct. Now, if you're wondering, can I calculate it at any other value? Yes, you can, but avoid 0, avoid 90 degrees, avoid 45 degrees. These are some tricky ones. The best value is just 2. You will get the answer almost all the time. You know, almost all the problems, I've tried all the problems, you will get the answer for this. Unless it is undefined at that particular value. It is, look into this one here. It's 1. Now let's go back over here. 1 by sine square I'll just put the square down, minus cosine squared, cosine x, close the bracket and square it up, and down again we have sine squared, close the bracket. Now let me calculate it at 2. I'm getting 1. Let's look into the option. Okay, this is an identity. I mean, not an identity. You get the value to 1 itself. So it doesn't matter what x value you take. Let's say 3, it'll be 1. Let's take 8, it'll be 1. Let's take minus 5, it'll be 1. All the values will just give you 1. So this is a, you can easily understand the answer. So all the other options will not give you 1, only there'll be 1 itself. So this is the correct answer. But what if I take 0? It'll be a math error. Why? Because it's undefined. It'll be 1 divided by 0. It's undefined, infinity, right? So make sure you avoid taking 0 as the theta value. Anything other than that, stick to 2 itself. What about the next problem here? Again, it's the same thing. Cosecant is 1 by sine squared. Sine x, close the bracket and square it. Over here, it's up above is 1. And then what do we have? Minus cotangent. It's again 1 by tangent square. Tangent x, close the bracket and square it up and close the bracket properly. Now here, let's calculate it at 2 and we are getting 2. Even if you choose any other value, you will get the 2 itself. But let's stick to 2. So that's the answer. If the answer option is 2, just try calculating it any other value. You will get the same number and then that's the answer. What about this one here? It is 1 plus sine theta. Sorry, it's only sine theta, close the bracket. Twice because it's now the first part is over. Multiply it with 1 minus sine theta and close the bracket. Now calculate this at 2. Here the value is 0.1731. Now you should look into all the 4 options and start solving them up. So it's 1 divided, sorry, it's not 1 divided by, just cos x, square it up, calculate it at 2. And yes, that's the correct answer. But make sure your calculator is in radian mode. These are the few things to remember. And now here it's 2 minus 2 sine square theta. And calculate it at 2. The answer is 0.346. Now if you do this, 2 cos square theta, calculated to 0.346. Yes, that's the correct answer. The question 2 is to use the sum and difference identities of sine and cosine, but since it's an electronic part, we did not need to do that. We can use any method. And this is from the lesson 11.3. Here we have a real world problem. A geologist measures the angle between one side of the rectangular lot and the line from a position. You can see over here the geologist is there. This is the person. And this is the rectangular lot given. So this is the borders. Okay, you can see the ends. That's the borders basically. And here from one corner, see from the opposite corner, this is one corner, right? The opposite corner is where the geologist is there. And from here to here, you can measure the angle to be 30 degrees because it's given. Okay, it's mentioned. So this is the angle that they're talking about. She then measures the angle between that line, see between this line and the line and the line to the point on the property where river crosses at 45 degrees. So now from this line to another line, this is the point where the river is crossing. See, that is the line they have told where river crosses at 45 degrees. So this is as 45 degrees, sorry. Here the river crosses. And this is given 30, 45, and what else? She stands 100 meters from the opposite corner of the property. So from here, the opposite corners, right? These are corners, vertices, edges. So this distance is given to be 100. Okay, we know so much. And now, how far is she from the point at which the river crosses the property line? So this is the property end, right? Because they have already mentioned over here in the second sentence. So we need to find the distance from where she is until this point. So basically, this distance is what we need. Now, instead of using any sum and difference of angle identities, what I'll do is I'll just write down what is known and what is required. I think so there is a figure already. Yeah, this one. I'll just refer to this. It's just the same one, but a bit cleaner one. This is the place where geologist is there. And this Y is what we want. This is 30 degrees. This is 45 degrees. So what is the opposite side? Opposite angle. They're equal. This is 30 and remaining. This is 90. So remaining, it's a rectangle. So all ends or corners are 90 degrees each. 90 and this remaining is 60 degrees. Now, if this is 30, so then this entire thing is 60, but they have told us this is 45, so remaining is 15. So we have just measured all the angles, and this is 100. So in order to find this, we can use trigonometry, right? But we know this, yes, but do we know the hypotenuse here? No, that is what we are finding for. But do you know any other side? Do you know this side or this side? No. But can we find any of the corners? Yes, because we know this 100, see this midline. This is 90, that's the hypotenuse. You know these two angles. So you can find this corner, right? So let me consider it to be x. I can find x first. Which identity gives me, which trig identity? This is theta. Theta is 30 degrees. So sine is opposite by hypotenuse, right? I don't need the adjacent side. So I'll use sine theta formula. Sine theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. So we know theta is 30 degrees. Sine 30 degrees is equal to opposite is x by hypotenuse is 100. So now here we take the 100 to the other side, or just put this entirely in the calculator, you'll get it. So it'll be sine 30 degrees times 100, that is equal to x. Just put this in the calculator and you'll get the answer. Here I'll just multiply sine. Now I'm using 30 degrees, isn't it? Can I use the radian mode here? No. I need to press shift mode 3. Now it's in degrees, or just clear your calculator. Just clear the calculator, it'll be in degree mode by default. So let me use sine 30 degrees, close the bracket, multiply it by 100. It is 50. This is the correct answer. Let me make it in radians for a minute and see, this is absolutely wrong, isn't it? So this is absolutely wrong. You need to have it in degree mode. And this is the correct answer. It's 50. So x is 50. But that is not what we want. X is 50. So now in this particular triangle, I know this is 50, I know this is 15, and the hypotenuse is unknown. So I can easily find it by Pythagoras theorem. I mean, trigonometry again. Which one over here? I can use cosine. I'm just going to write it over here. Cosine theta is adjacent by hypotenuse, isn't it? Because 15 degrees is the theta. This is theta. Adjacent to it is 50. So cosine 15 is equal to adjacent is 50 divided by what is hypotenuse? That is unknown, y. So y will be 50 divided by cosine 15. Let's look at what is the y value. Let's use our calculators. Over here you have to do 50 divided by, or you can use the fraction symbol, cosine 15 degrees. Now it's in degree mode, so I'll just write cosine 15, and this is the answer, but this will not be in your options. I think yeah, it'll be in decimal. It's 51.76. That's the final answer. That is the distance for the geologist till wherever the point of the river, you know. So 51.76 is the correct answer. You can see the methods here. First we find x, and then they have used the sum and difference angle identities, but we avoided it and we found the answer. Yes, it was 51.76, that is 51.8. This is the final answer. Question 3 is to find values of sine and cosine by using sum and difference identities. But again, since it's the electronic part, we can use calculator and solve it directly. It's from the lesson 11.3. Now all we need is a calculator. The thing you need to remember in these questions is whether it's given in degrees or in radians. Let's take our calculators now. If you have cleared your calculator, by default it's in degree mode, and over here we have been given degrees. So sine 165 would be equal to square root 6 minus square root 2 divided by 4. That's the correct answer. And cosine 135 is negative root 2 by 2. Similarly, you can solve the others, but here now we have radians. Sorry, yeah, pi. pi is in radians, not in degrees. So it's 7 divided by 12 pi. Let's write 7 pi, shift, and the symbol here. If I press equal to, this is absolutely wrong because it's in degrees, isn't it? Even with the bracket, it's the same answer. Now let's press shift, mode, and then 4, and this is the correct answer. It's negative. Now here you can see it's swapped. Why? Because it's minus root 6 root 2. Or you can write it as minus root 6 plus root 2 by 4. It's the same thing. It's just that they've written the positive value first and then the negative value. What about this one? It is the same thing, sine. It is pi divided by 12. You can close the bracket or no, it's fine, but it's better to close the bracket. And here we go, that is root 6 minus root 2 by 4. Similarly, do the other problems. I'll do the radians first over here because it's already in radian mode, just minus here. And instead of sine, we have cosine. And the value is root 6 plus 4. It's see the root 2 plus root 6 by 4 or root 6 plus root 2 by 4. It's the same thing because you just have them rearranged. It's like 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2. It's the same. Answer will be 5 itself. It's the same thing over here. If you press SD, both of these are absolutely same. But when we solve this over here, tan 195, let me do it in the radian mode. Now it's already in radians. This is wrong. But now let me change it to the degree mode. Yes, this is correct. So this is how we solve it. Please do solve all these problems by yourselves. Now when we come to secant, now tan is again simple, right? 165, and you have the options to check your answers, so it's pretty simple. But what about secant? Secant is 1 by cosine. That is reciprocal identities, isn't it? 1 by cosine is secant and 1 by sine is cosecant. So I'll write 1 by cosine, 1275 degrees. And the answer is negative root 6 plus root 2. Or you can have it as root 2 plus minus root 6. So you might have this in your answers or options. So don't be worried if this is not there. Don't think, oh, this is not there in the exam. No, this is absolutely there, but it's just rearranged. That's the only thing. And now here we have sine 735. Very simple. But what about this here? Tangent, we have 23 pi, shift and pi over here, divided by 12. And make sure it's in radian mode because we have pi. Whenever there's pi, it's radian. If this degree is not there, it means it's in radian. And it's minus 2 plus root 3. Over here as well, it is cosecant. What is cosecant? It is 1 by sine. And then we have to write it as phi pi by 12. And then close the bracket here. And it's in radian mode already, so that's just equal to, here we go. What about this one? It is cotangent, that is 1 by tan, because we do not have cotangent option directly. And then we have 113 pi divided by 12. And now if you press equal to, you'll get an error. Why? Because in this denominator, the brackets are very important. You have to close the bracket here. Otherwise, you get an error. The answer is 2 minus root 3. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos. It would mean a lot. The question 4 is about double angle and half angle identities. This is an interesting question because you can solve the double angle easily in calculator. The sine 2 theta, cos 2 theta. But the half angle, you can try with the calculator. You tend to get the wrong answers as well. Because here it involves the square root and stuff. So we need to use the formula. I will solve this problem because I will just go with the shortcuts. Here, I will show you the sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta by calculator in a minute. But I will first do the solving of sine theta by 2 and cos theta by 2. This plays an important rule, the theta thing. If it is 2 theta, then what happens? You multiply both the sides by 2. Here then we will have 0, 2 times 0 is 0, less than 2 theta less than 180. So this is the condition of theta for these two double angles. But for half angle, it will just be divided by 2 throughout. So this will be 45 degrees. Here this is the conditions. How we solve this, we require cosine. If over here cos theta was directly given, then you don't need to solve. You can directly use the half angle identity formulas and solve it up. But here first, step 1 would be using the Pythagoras theorem, that is 1 equals sine squared theta plus cos squared theta, and then solve it up. 1, substitute what we know. Sine is 1 by 4 the whole square plus cos squared theta. Now here you can take this to the other side, it will be 1 minus, now square, both the sides will be 4 squared is 16 equals cos squared theta. This will be 16 by 16, it will be 15 by 16. So 15 by 16 equals cos squared theta. You can take the square root on both the sides and you will get plus or minus root 15 by 4 equals cos theta. But since it's in the first quadrant, I don't need to bother about this. The sign is going to be plus here. Cos theta will be plus. Why? Because in the first quadrant, everything is positive. Now then, cos theta is found out. You can try solving sine theta by 2 and cos theta by 2. This, because I'll show you in calculator, we don't need to worry about these formulas. Or there are a set of formulas, you can substitute and solve it. Now, what about theta by 2 and theta by 2 over here? The formulas are sine theta by 2 equals, it's always plus or minus because square root is there. It's 1 cos theta divided by 2. I'll write even this formula, cos theta by 2. I will complete this in a while. Is equal to, again, square root, this is plus or minus 1 cos theta divided by 2. See, how I remember is, if it's cos and cos, then it's positive. It's a good thing. But if it's cos and sine and cos, it's a minus. This is how I remember the formula. It always sticks in my mind like this. Now all you do is substitute the values. Sine theta by 2 will be root of 1 minus, what is cos theta? It is square root 15 divided by 4 divided by 2. Whereas cos theta by 2 will be square root of 1 plus root 15 divided by 4, the whole thing by 2. So we have sine theta by 2 equals, put it in the calculator, you will get the answer. And cos theta by 2 equals this thing. Sorry, not the square root. This is the answer. But now, what is the condition over here? What is the theta condition? For half angle, theta is 0, greater than 0, but less than 45 degrees. That's the first quadrant. So there is no problem at all in this. Now we will use our calculators and solve this up. Here, be careful when you substitute in the calculator. Put the square root symbol and then this symbol, fraction symbol, 1 minus, again put a fraction symbol, square root 15 divided by 4 divided by 2. Now press equal to, you're getting this answer. Okay, there's a problem now. I mean, it's not a problem or anything. Write the answer, sine theta by 2 is 0.126 and 0. Over here, I will just change the sign and I will find it for cos theta by 2. It is 0.992. Now, these are the answers, 0.992. It's both positive itself because we got the condition in the first quadrant itself. Now, I'm 100% sure that your answers will be not like this. I mean, not 100%. Generally, your options answer won't be like this. They will be in terms of square root and all that. Let's quickly look into the answers. See, these are your answers. They are in terms of, see, huge, gigantic values. But how would you do that is, how would you check your correct options are is, use your calculator and solve this up. Now here I have written both these answers. Now let's put these in the calculator. Use the fraction symbol, square root 8 minus 2, again square root 15 divided by 4. The third value is sine 2 theta. What is the answer? Press equal to, it matches. It's the exact value which we got. Now we just change the plus sign to plus, and what do we get? It'll be 0.992, and that's the cos theta value, theta by 2. So this is how we can do it. Now, I think so sometimes the calculator method works even for this. but it's not for all problems. So that's why I'm showing you this method. Please remember this formula, only two formulas, and solve it up. Now, what about the first two? I told you there's a calculator method, right? It's better we clear the calculator every now and then. Now, first thing what you need to remember is don't use degree mode. These are trigonometric functions. Shift mode and use 4. This is now in radian mode. So I can directly substitute these values. These are all in radians, okay? This is given. Sine theta is 1/4. Let me find what is theta. So how do you find theta? Theta would be, take sine to the other side. It will be sine inverse of 1/4. So theta can be solved now in the calculator. Press shift and sine, you will get sine inverse. 1/4 is 0.25, or I'll just write it as it is. And what's the answer? 0.25268. Here I'll just write it 0.25268. Please write at least 4 to 5 digits after the decimal point. And now here the best way would be, this is saved as the answer. Now if I press answer, the theta value is saved. If I use this, I'll generally get the correct form. Now this is theta, right? I will just put sine 2 into theta. That's the answer. What am I getting? Okay, I'm not getting it in the general form. Anyways, not in the exact form. So what I'm getting is 0.484. If I solve this, I must get that. Let me try it. Root 15 divided by 8 is 0.481. So the same thing. Now what about 7 by 8? 7 by 8 is nearly 0.8587, I guess. Yeah, 875. Now we will do the same thing with cos. This is cos theta 2, the answer. Now what we will do is we will do cos 2 into theta value we just now found out, right? 25268. And okay, now we are not getting the exact value because we are not taking the entire values of theta, right? But it's almost correct. But if you had found out sine inverse 0.25, the theta value, the exact theta value, and now if I do cos 2 into answer, this is the exact theta value, I'm getting the exact value. Sometimes you'll get it like this, sometimes you'll get it as a decimal. Please compare the answers with the options. So for the first two, that is sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta, you can use the calculator easily, whereas for sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta, you cannot. Okay, let us try the second one as well. For the first two, what I would do is first find the sine inverse value. It is 4 divided by 5. The answer is 0.92729. It's better you write it down because we need many digits after decimal. 277295. And now what I will do is I'll just put it as sine 2 into answer. It's in radian mode, so I don't need to worry about it. I get 24 by 25. Now I'll tell you how to do the sign in a minute. This is the answer. Now write it down. We know it's 24 by 25. And what about the cos 2 theta? So just put cos 2 into 0.927295. And it is negative 0.2799, and it's negative 0.28. Okay, so let's try this. 7 by 25, it's minus, it's 0.28. Yeah, that's the answer. See, these are the correct answers. But here you should do the formula method. But now, how do I know which is positive, which is negative? Here we have been given the theta, right? So let's multiply both the sides by 2. So what do we get? 180 degrees theta less than 280 becomes 360 degrees. Now, is sine positive from 180 to 360? No, sine is positive only at what? 0 to 180 degrees. This is beyond the sine, so that's why it's negative. Now for cos theta, cos 2 theta, do you think we have to do the same thing? Is it from 180 to 360 degrees? No. Here, whatever the answer you get is the correct answer. In the calculator, the sign is not at all impacted by this. I will explain why, because this is a bit confusing, right? For sine 2 theta, we use this. If you know the formulas, sine 2 theta is given by 2 sine theta times cos theta. Whereas Cos 2 theta formulas are either cos square minus 1, cos square plus. Every time there is square involved, whenever square is involved, even if it was negative angle, it becomes positive. It doesn't matter the sign over there. Whatever the answer you get in calculator is your answer. But for this, the issue is we have to take based on the quadrants, right? So here when we solve this up, we put the proper formulas, put the values, and then the sign matters based on the theta. Whereas for other one, it really doesn't matter because we take cos theta, cos square theta or sine square theta. So even if we take based on this negative or positive based on the quadrants, if you put say minus 1, it will be squared and it's going to be positive 1 only. Whereas these last two we have to do according to the formula which was shown, and then look for the angle. Over here what you need to do is divide both the sides by 2. So what is the theta you get? Theta by 2 will be this much. It's in the first quadrant, so both will be positive. This is pretty simple. Doesn't matter what, they'll give you in quadrant, and this when you divide by 2, it will be in single quadrant itself. So easily you can tell which is the sign. Now this one we need the sign because it's square root. It's either plus or minus. So we have to follow the quadrant. Only for cos theta, you have to just take whatever you get in the calculator. We got minus itself in the calculator, so that's the answer. For the sine, you might get minus, you might get plus, anything, but based on the theta over here, multiply both the sides by 2 and take the answer. I'll do this one as well over here. Now this is cos theta. This is the answer. Let's take our calculator. I've just typed cos inverse of negative 5 by 13. And here what is the answer? 1.9655. Let me write out the theta here. It's 1.965587. Now then, once we get theta, we can find sine 2 times the answer, that's theta is already saved. Sorry, this one. And here we get negative 120 by 169. Let's look at the answer. But here, even if it's positive, we need to double check. Now this is the same thing, but you have to double check. But let's look at the cos theta now, cos 2 theta. I will just put cos 2 times the theta value is 1.965587. Here we get negative 0.704. You can see the sign should match. Whatever is this sign, here only. If it was plus, you just put plus. This is equivalent to this. I will just show you. 119 divided by 169 gives you the same answer as 0.704. We just know. We also got 704.704. That's the thing. And these you have to use the formula and solve it up. Same formula, straightforward. Now what about the angle over here, the theta? Limits of intervals of theta is pi and pi by 2. For sine 2 theta, you need to multiply both the sides by 2. So it will be pi, theta will be 2 pi. Now here it's always negative, it's not positive at all. Whereas for theta by 2, you just divide this by 2, it will be pi by 4. Then theta by 2, it's only less than, sorry, and it is pi by 2. Pi by 4 is 45 degrees, and over here we have 90 degrees. This is both the sides, both the sine and cos will be positive because it's in the first quadrant. That is how we do it. Now here we have an entire explanation of a problem. You can just go through it for sine 2 theta, cos 2 theta, and half angle identities as well. Here, please go through this. The presentation is in the link in the description. You can just click on the link and download the presentation. So this is how we basically solve. See, you have to use the formula, and you can see over here there is plus or minus. And let me just go back to the double angle identity here. See, this quadrant is important here. Why? Because we are using sine theta, cos theta. That's why. Whereas for this one, you are squaring. The formula will be squared up. So you take it as positive or negative. Now over here, cos theta is positive in this quadrant. We take positive. But even if it was minus, you square it, so the negative is gone. So you don't need it. Here, this is for half angle identity. You can easily do the same thing. Divide both the sides by 2. And over here, we can see theta by 2 is in the quadrant 2. So for sine, it is positive, whereas cos, it's negative. Because second quadrant, Now, when you divide this by 2, what's the angle? 3/4 pi, that is, and 2 pi. Okay, pi is 180. It's less than pi, so it is in the second quadrant. Yes, but sine is positive in the second quadrant, whereas cos is negative. Cos is only positive in first and the fourth, right? So this answer, whatever answer, you just take positive, whereas the second answer over here, you just consider it to be negative. So that's the answer. So you can try them by yourselves. Okay, now we have a tan problem. So I will solve this one over here. We know what is tan theta, right? Tan theta is opposite by adjacent. We need to use this relationship. Now, if this is opposite by and adjacent, what is this over here? 8 by 15. Negative sign represents the quadrant. The quadrant is the second quadrant. Over here, second quadrant tan is negative. That's why it's minus. Now, opposite side is given, adjacent side is given. What is the hypotenuse? Now, imagine this is 90 degree, this is theta. Opposite side over here is 8, adjacent side over here is 15. What is the hypotenuse? You can easily find it by the square root of 15 square minus 8 square. So when you solve this up in the calculator, you get the answer for the hypotenuse. Here I've just typed it out, and the answer over here is root of 161. Now that's the hypotenuse, HYP. It's square root 161. Now we can easily find out what is cos, right? Cos theta is adjacent by square root of hypotenuse, that is square root of 161. The adjacent side was 15 divided by square root 161. Now when you're using cosine, please remember it's minus. Why? Because in the second quadrant cosine is negative, but sine is positive. Now from this cos theta we find the half angle identities sine and cos. But what about sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta? Here what we will do is we'll just use the theta directly. See, tan inverse of minus 8 by 15 and find the theta. Theta is negative for this much. Just put cos 2 into the answer. That is the answer. Let's look over here. That's the answer. Same thing again. If you put the theta, I will do tan inverse negative 8 divided by 15. Its answer. Sine 2 times the answer because the theta value is saved. That is over here. But now please be sure to check the theta value, okay, whether it's positive or negative. Since this is 90, it will be 180 degrees and this will be 360 degrees. Now again, this falls in the third and fourth quadrant. Is sine positive or negative in third and fourth quadrant? It's minus, so therefore we have minus, whereas over here we directly got it as plus. But what about the half angle? Let's just divide this by 2, divide this by 2, it will be 45 to 90. So both should be plus and plus. But this cos theta, why I did this? To find the half angle, because we had used the formula we initially did, right? Using the square root formula. That's why. That's how we can easily solve it up. Even over here, do the same thing. Please remember, tan is opposite by adjacent. Write it out, find the hypotenuse, and then solve it up. For the first two, if the question is only for double angle identity, do it in the calculator easily. Please do try these questions as well. They're pretty straightforward, just like what we have done, only the values are changing. All the solutions are available over here. After you solve it, check for the solutions. Question number 5 is about inverses of 2 cross 2 or 3 cross 3 matrices. This is a straightforward and an easy problem in calculator. So let's take our calculators now. Here you need to follow the methods very closely. You should not do anything wrong because you will not get the answers. First we need to press mode because there's nothing switched on. There's no matrix mode or anything. So press mode and press 6. That is the matrix. And now initially when you start, you can fill in one matrix. Now for inverse, there's only one matrix. So this is it. Press matrix A, that is option number 1. And look at the dimensions of this matrix. It's 2 cross 2. 2 rows, 2 columns, right? 2 cross 2 is option number 5. And type the matrix in. Negative 4. Then press equal to. Once you do it, press equal to. And minus 6 equals to 3. Now once all are typed in, Once you're pressed equal to, you should press AC or on. It's better to go with AC. Now, all clear, you're back. Here you need to any more, please don't go to more and press 6. If you go again, then the matrices will be reset. So it's a big problem. Please don't go to more and press 6 anymore. Already the matrix mode is on. Anymore, if you have to use any matrices, press shift and 4. See, can you see above 4 is matrix? Now this gives you the options. If you want to fill another matrix, you need to go to dimension and do the steps which you just now did. But now we already saved this matrix, right? Just press 3. That is the matrix A. Now I want to take the inverse. Inverse is by this symbol over here. X to the power minus 1 is x inverse. And equal to, it's a math error. If I'm getting a math error, this means this is a singular matrix. This cannot be taken as inverse because the determinant of this is 0. It's a singular. Now, if you want to double check the determinant is 0, what I can do is, I will just clear it out. You can press shift and 4. There is option number 7 for determinants, and then again shift and 4, press matrix A, close the bracket. Here the determinant is 0. If determinant is 0, the matrix is singular. Or if you get math error, that means it's singular. Even this is singular, you can try by yourself. Over here, I have done the written method. You can follow this as well. But the calculated method is more than enough. You just have to find the determinant. These opposite things are multiplied to each other and minus the other thing. So it's first left to right minus right to left. And then find the determinant. Your determinant is 0. That means this is a singular matrix. The determinant, it does not exist. Inverse does not exist. And if you want to solve otherwise, you need to consider these as A, B, C, D and find the determinant. Left to right, 2 times minus 2 and then minus 3 times minus 2. You get the answer over here as minus 10. If the determinant is anything other than 0, you will get an inverse. Now the formula for inverse is 1 by determinant and there is D. See, this one shifts over here. Instead of D, it becomes A place and A comes to D's place. Whereas B and C doesn't change, but you have to multiply by negative sign. So here, this shifts. See what happens? This minus 2 goes up and these two signs become minus. And then you just write 1 by determinant is minus 10. And over here, initially we had minus 2D, it became A and A became D. And here you multiply both by minus. This is the answer. You can multiply the negative 1 by 10 inside and you will get these answers. This is the determinant. You can check this. Now, since I'm going to type this anew as the first matrix, I can go to mode again, or I'll just clear the calculator. What I personally do is, whenever I finish matrices, I just clear the calculator, go to mode again, press 6. Now, matrix 1, it's a 2 cross 2 matrix. Option 5, 2 minus 3 minus 2, and lastly minus 2. That's it. Press AC, shift 4. Matrix A is by 3, inverse, that's the answer. It's 1, this is the fraction symbol, 1 by 5, minus 3 by 10, negative 1 by 5, and negative 1 by 5. That's the answers. So that's how we do it. Even if it is a 3 cross 3 matrix, it's same method. Please do this by yourselves, and I'll do one 3 cross 3 matrix. I will just clear it out over here. Now, if once I clear, I can't press shift and 4. It doesn't work because I need to go to mode and 6 for the first time. Type in the matrix A. It's 3 cross 3, so it's option 1. Now, I'll just type the values. 1 minus, sorry, it's minus 1, minus 1, minus 3, 3, 6, 4, 2, 1, 8. So once this is done, you need to press AC. Now, here what you do is shift 4, put in the matrix A, inverse. This must be the answer. You can see here it's negative 44, negative 5. And you can match the answer. Here, this one, the determinant is 0, so it's a singular matrix. That's how we can easily solve them up. Over here it's singular, over here you get the answer. Try it by yourselves and then check for the answers. Question 6 is about multiplication of matrices. Again, we can use the calculator and easily solve it up. Let's use our calculator. We have seen how to use the matrix mode in the inverse of the matrices. please watch the previous video of question 5 before watching this. Now, even for this, we do the same procedure at the beginning. Press mode and let's fill in this matrix. I'll do the second one first and then I'll come to this. Let's do this A, that is matrix A is by, sorry, first mode, and 6 is the matrix option, matrix A. And it's 2 cross 2, so I'll press 5 and now type in the matrix. 2, 9, minus 7 and 3 here. And now press AC. Never go back to mode again. You need to press Shift 4 to use matrix options. Now we have another matrix. Don't press matrix B. This is not the one. You need to press 1 for dimensions and then put in matrix B by option 2. Now here, it's again 2 cross 2 matrix. So let's press 5 and type in the matrix. 6, minus 4, 0, and lastly we have 3. Now both the matrices are saved and all you need to do is multiply. You have to multiply AB and BA if possible, right? So let's press Shift 4 and type 3, that is matrix A, multiply by multiplication symbol, and now again matrix B, that is Shift 4 and option 4. Press equal to, you get the answers 12, 19, minus 42 and 37. Let's just look at the answers. This is the answer. But multiplying B and A is not the same. For that, you need to again press Shift 4 and press B, that is option 4, multiplied by Shift 4, option 3, that is matrix A. Make it equal. So this is the answer now, 40, 42, minus 21 and 9. Now here, let us do this one. You can try it by yourselves. I will do it over here. Pause it, try to do it by yourselves. You can check the answers. Now we can see the video. Mode 6 is the matrix. Press option 1 and now type in the matrix A, that is 1 by 2, because there's only one row and 2 columns, right? It's 1 by 2. There's no option over here. Let's press down. Here we get option 2, 1 by 2. Now type in the values 8 and 1 and then press AC. Now Shift 4, press dimension and type the matrix B, that is option 2. This is 2 cross 2, that's option number 5. And now we have 3, minus 7, minus 5 and positive 2. Both the matrices are saved now. All you need to do is Shift 4, option 3 for matrix A, multiplied by Shift 4 and option 4. When you press equal to, you're getting the matrix 19 and minus 54. Now let's try same thing. Matrix B multiplied by matrix A. What happens? Here you get a dimension error. That means this is not possible to be multiplied. I will tell you how the dimension thing works. Let's look at this one. First, let's write the dimensions over here. This is 2 cross 3 and this is 3 cross 2. If the columns in the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix, then we can easily multiply them. If they are not equal, then we cannot. So if I'm multiplying B and A, what happens is this is 3 cross 2 times 2 cross 3. This also is possible. Over here, both are possible. Whereas if this was not matching in the other problems, it's not possible. You can directly put in the calculator and check it out. Now the actual method to multiply is, here what happens is the first row is multiplied with this first column. And then you write it out from the tail to the tail, in the sense this term over here with this term. Can you see over here? That's happened. Minus 2 times 2 here. And then 0 times minus 1. And lastly 3 times 9. That is what we do. And then we write it over here. And then the first row with the second column. And that is written over here. And then with the second row first column over here. And this one with the second row over here. Second column over here. You can see the tail with the tail. In the sense 5 times 0. Minus 7 times 0. And lastly 1 times 3. Now you just can solve this up. You can put in the calculator and solve it. You get this answer. This is the multiplication. Same way you can do for the B and A. It's the first row with the first column, first row with the second column, first row with the third column. And there we go. And same thing, second row, first column. And it just continues. It's a very simple thing. Whereas the same thing is already done to you in the calculator. And we get this answer. Now one more thing which I forgot to tell. When we write the dimensions, now this is 3 cross 2, 3 cross 2 cross 3, right? This must match. Yes, we can multiply. The resultant will be the rows of the first matrix and the columns of the second matrix. So it's 3 cross 3 here. That's how we get it. And please do try these by yourselves. You can use the calculator method or you can do the long method as well. Generally, you're supposed to have only 2 cross 2 or 3 cross 3 matrix, but over here there is one 4 cross, this is one row, 4 columns. Try this by the method we just now saw. You need to multiply and then you will get the answer. Over here is the answer. It's very simple, but BA is not possible because it's a dimensional error. And same thing, please do solve these and then check your answers over here. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this video, we will use linear programming to solve applications. Here we have systems of equations and then an objective function is given. We need to solve this up and find the vertices and use the objective function to find maximum and minimum values. Basically, this is done by graphing. Now, what do we graph? We need to understand each equation. See, whenever you have y is less than or equal to 3 and greater than or equal to 1, see the y-axis. Where is 1? Somewhere over here. 3 can be over here. Just draw straight lines. Okay, it must pass through 3. That's wrong, but anyways, this is a line and over here there is one more line. And now, all the region within that, because y is in between. Otherwise, if you split this out, what is it? Y is less than or equal to 1 is less than or equal to y and y is less than or equal to 3. This means y is greater than or equal to 1, isn't it? The equivalent. Because the bigger side is opening towards y. So 1 is over here. Everything above, because greater than or equal to means or greater than symbol means upside. Anything, just point and make it upwards. What about this one? Less than is down. So this is the solution region. But we have two more equations over here. So here it's in the slope intercept form. You can use the calculated table method and find the points if you want. Mode 7, put this equation and you get the points. That is also possible. Or just basic understanding is known, right? Y is equal to mx plus b. The slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 1. So it will start over here and it's a positive slope. So it will go upwards, something like this. That is just a rough figure. Okay, I know there will be some vertex over here. And then what about this point? Here we know it will be x is at y, so it will go to the other side. It will be 2y less than or equal to minus x plus 12. And we divide everything by 2. What do we get? We get y is less than or equal to minus x plus 6. This is the slope intercept form. Now I can tell you, okay, this is having a y-intercept at 6 and it is having a slope, negative slope. That's half over here. So it'll go something like this. So there will be one point over here. And what about over here? This is also a point. Now we need to see how these equations work. Look here, y is less than or equal to. So which is this line? At this one. I'll touch a point here. Less than means it's downwards, so it should be all this region. What about this one? Here also, it's less than. So I'll touch a point here and it should be down to the line. If it was greater than, it would be above this. Above. If it's down. See, you have any line? If it's less than, then it will be down or less than equal to. If it was greater than, it will be up. That's the only thing. So now I know these are the 4 vertex points. Now, how do you find these vertex? If you have the 4 options as the vertex, you can easily figure out this is going to be 0, 1. This might be something like 2 and 3. X might be 2 or 3 over here. That's how we can figure out. But the actual way is simple. What is this equation? This equation is this one, right? The first one. Y is less than or equal to 2x plus 1. Which lines is it touching at? It's touching this line and this line. So we need to find the intercept. You can use the calculator over here or you can just see over here. What is this particular line? It is y is less than or equal to 3. Solve this up. When you solve it, what's going to happen? Just equate 3 over here and solve for the x value. It will be 3. I will just make this as equal to, you don't put inequality, you can just solve it as equation. Now take this 1 to the other side, it will be 2 equals 2x, and it's divided, x is equal to 1. So this point is at 1 comma 3, because I know the y-axis already. This is 0 comma 1. What about this one? Now we need to see which is this equation. This equation was x less than or equal to minus x by 2 plus 6. Now substitute the y values. Over here the y value was, this is y is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1. So we will have to do both the substitution. Over here it was on the axis, it was easy. Over here I will first substitute 3 and solve. Minus x by 2 plus 6. You can make this as equal to sign. 6 goes to the other side. I'll solve it over here. 6, when it moves to the other side, will be minus 6 plus 3. It's minus 3 equals negative 6 x by 2. Take it to the other side. It will be minus 6 is equal to minus x. Both minus changes. It will be x is equal to 6. So this point is 6 comma 3. X-axis at 6. What about this point? Substitute over here, instead of y as 1, minus x by 2 plus 6 goes to the other side, be minus 5 equals minus x by 2. Take this to the other side, minus 10 is equal to minus x. X is equal to 10. So this point is 10 comma 1. This is how we find the vertices. If you graph it, you will find the vertices, but we are not doing any accurate graph. They have not asked for graph, they have just asked for maximum minimum values, right? So this is how we find the vertices for any graphing. This is a rough one. Let's just look at the vertices over here. You can see over here, that's the vertices we also got. This is 6 comma 3. Yes, that's the exact, all the points are correct. Now once we get these vertices, we need to substitute back into the objective function. Now that can be done easily in calculator. I'll show you now. What I do is I put the objective function and leave the x and y in brackets, blank. Now I will choose the first point. What is the x value? It's 0 and over here 1 and equals, this is the 1. At this particular point it's 1. Now just change those quickly to 3 as y and x is 1. And then what do we get? Over here we get 6. So this is 1, 6. We need to write them down. Why? Because we need to find where it is maximum and where it is minimum. So both are required. Now then, I will just change it to the other 2 points. Over here, the y is same, only this value changes. It's 21, so this is having a bigger value. And lastly, we have to substitute 10 and 1. This will be 10 and this will be 1. So the answer is 31. So which is having the maximum value? So maximum value is over here, minimum value is over here. Now if you're thinking why I could not use the variable x, I can use variable x, but there is 2 unknown variables. That is not possible in the calculator. So we manually type the xy values and you can see the maximum 31 is at what? 10 comma 1, and the minimum we got 1, right? Over here 1 is written, 0 comma 1. This is how we solve these type of problems. Here you need to know the basic graphing and then only solve it. Now there's one more thing. Here you will have 4 options, isn't it? You can try substituting this x and y values in the equation. If you type this 10 instead of x and solve and y as 1, you will get 31. This will match. And the minimum also should match. That is one way to check the answer. But what if they have given you certain other equations which will also be true? With say 81 at different 2 points. Because without graphing, you won't know whether these vertices are correct or wrong. So if you have to find the vertices, you will have to do the graphing. There is no other way. So that is why it's better to understand the graphing first and then do it. But in exam, if you're really not getting it, try checking all the options, put the x value, put the y value and check whether it's matching. And if others are not matching, then this will be the correct answer. But if they give you another equation which will give you a proper matching one, you can't be sure which is the maximum or minimum. So that's the thing. All these problems are just the same. Here the change is it's in terms of x. x is less than or equal to 4 and x is greater than or equal to 1. Now in this case, you can see over here at 1, there is a straight line, this one, okay? And what you need to do is, x is greater than or equal to 1 means it's a right. And here x is less than or equal to 4 means left. Then all the others in slope-intercept form, this would mean at 4, say this line, less than or equal. So it's down, and what about this? It's greater than or equal, it's up. So this is the solution region. You need to put them up in this objective function, all the vertices, and find the maximum and minimum, and these are the answers. This problem is also similar, but here you can see it's x and y. So let's see, x is greater. Where is x2? Over here, this one, to the right. And what about y greater than or equal to? So this is the y-axis, above. Greater means up or right. If it was less than, it's down. For x less than would be left. Now let's write these in standard form. Here it will be y less than or equal to minus x by 2 plus 3. I've just directly done this. You have to do one step at a time and you will get this answer. What is the intercept here? 3, and the slope is negative, it's going down. And it's less than or equal to, y is less than or equal to, this goes down. What about this equation? I will take y to the other side and bring 7 over here. It will be 2x minus 7 less than or equal to y. Y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 7. So minus 7 is the intercept, y-intercept. Positive slope, it's going upwards. This is the line, it's greater than. So I catch a point and upside. So this overlapping region is the solution set. And these are all the vertices over here. This is how we can put the vertices back to the objective function and get the maximum, minimum. If it is graphing, it's pretty simple, but you have to find the maximum and minimum value. So you need to do the graph and then find it out. See, these are all the vertices. Over here, there are a bit more equations, 3 equations over here, and then 2 lines. You will have this one. So one important thing, because you need to find maximum, minimum, they don't leave it open. It will be always an enclosed shape. So if you don't get it, just double check. If you have written it properly in the standard form or the slope-intercept form, double check it and then get this graph. Now, in order to find the vertex point over here, just see which are the 2 equations, this and this. Write it in terms of standard form, ax plus bx equals c, ax plus bx equals c. In the calculator, you need to press mode, phi for equation and 1 for simultaneous equation. Now this must be in standard form. Here, since the intercept is 3, 2 divided by, this is the equation for this line. Okay. So what you do is 1, 2 and 6. Now what about the next equation? This is having an intercept of 1, so it must be this one because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now write the coefficients of x first. Remember, a is always x. If you write 2, it's wrong. So I need to write minus 1, then comes 2, and lastly we have 2. See, ax plus by equals c. Now the vertex is 2, 2. That's how we get it. Whenever we have 2 equations, just put the 2 equations in the calculator in standard form and solve it up. And even over here, you can easily solve them up. When it's a straight line, you just substitute. Over here, we know x value is 5, so substitute over here x is 5 and solve it up. This is x is equal to 5, right? If I substitute in this equation x is 5, it will be 5 plus 3, 8. So y value is 8. And x value is 5, obviously, because we are considering x is 5. This is the intersecting point. So it's not that hard to get this graph. Once you get the graph, you need to put these vertices, all the 4 vertices, back to this equation and find the maximum and minimum. It's just a lengthy procedure, but it's a straightforward problem. Please try all these problems by yourselves and check for the answers. The graph is there and also the answers are there, and you can easily solve them up. In this video, we will see how to write the parabolas in their standard forms. First, let us write the standard form of a parabola and then understand the equation. Y is equal to a into x minus h, the whole square plus k. This is the standard form. Here, why do we need the standard form is we can easily get the h and k, that is the vertex values. H and k can be easily found out. Now, this actually needs to be done by the completing the square method. But since this is in the MCQ part, I will tell you a shortcut. but you need to know all the four options first. So let us just look into the answers of these. Here you have plenty of different options, right? So the first thing is take your calculators. If this is the given question, this equation should be equivalent to this. So if I choose any x value for this particular equation, I must get the same value over here as well for y. Now I will do it over here. Let's type this out as it is in the calculator. It's by 2 alpha x squared minus 24 x, and lastly we have plus 40. Now it's up to you to choose any x value. I'll just choose 1.5 and we got 17 by 2 or 8.5. Now remember that x value. The same must be applied in the all the four options. So what you need to do is now just press on, and now 2 times x minus 6 the whole square minus 32. And now calculate at the same x value, that is 1.5, and we will get the same answer. All the other options will give you different, because if it's same, then that's the correct answer itself. Now one more thing, your answer must match this equation. Can you see this? Ax minus h the whole square plus k. You can see x must have no coefficient. The coefficient will be outside the bracket. So 2 into x minus 6 the whole square minus 32. Now from here you can easily tell which is the vertex. Minus 6, and this one you need to change the sign for the h value. That is the x value of the vertex. If it is minus 6, it will be plus 6. But this one as it is, minus 32 is the y value of vertex. The axis of symmetry is whatever the x value of the vertex, that is 6. And it opens upwards. Why? Because this is a quadratic equation which is having positive sign, means it opens upwards. That's how easily you can solve all the questions. But what about this one, the last one? We have no equation over here because the constant term is over there. First, we need to write it in a proper equation. As I can see, the square is towards y. So what I need to understand is this is either opening right side or left side. And how do I rewrite this? I'll just write x is equal to minus 3y squared minus 12y plus 18. Now you can easily check. Over here, instead of x, we have y squared. That's fine. Put this as it is in the calculator. Solve for any x by for this variable value. Write the answer and match it with all your options. Now, in case you have this, you don't have this equation given, only the vertex, and it tells you the axis of symmetry. What do you do then? Then it's fine. You must just remember this formula, minus b by 2a. This is the vertex, x value of vertex, x value of vertex. Now here minus b is minus 24 times minus sign, because already there is minus, and this is also minus 24 divided by 2 times 2. The answer over here will be 24 by 4 is 6. Yeah, and this minus and minus becomes plus, so we have 6. Now you can see the axis of symmetry is 6 and the x value of vertex is 6. If you want to find this, just substitute 6 over here and solve it up. It'll be 6 minus 6 is 0. It's minus 32 over here. But this question is about finding standard forms, so they have to give you the standard form in the options. And over here, it's the same thing. It's just that the orientation is different. Now, one thing, if it is y is equal to x squared and so on, if it is plus, it opens upwards, minus, it opens downwards. But what if it is x is equal to y squared and so on? So if it is plus, it opens to the right. If it's minus, it opens to the left. That's the only thing. And here the axis of symmetry is the y. It's not x value. See over here, the axis of symmetry, what do we consider? The x value of vertex. Here the axis of symmetry must be the y value of vertex, because here it's like this, right? That is the axis of symmetry. Whereas it's vertically oriented, it will be the vertical line. Horizontal orientation, horizontal line. That's how simple and easy this question is. Please do go through them by yourselves and try to solve using calculator. And if you have any doubts, please post them in the comments. In this video, we will graph circles for real life situations. Here we have about space. A satellite is in circular orbit 25,000 miles above Earth. Write an equation for the orbit of this satellite. If the origin is at center of Earth, use 8,000 miles as the diameter of the Earth. So now here they have told a satellite, imagine this is the satellite rotating, that is 25,000 miles above the Earth. Now if I have Earth over here, the distance would be 25,000 miles. I'll write 25k. But there is one more thing. The diameter of Earth is given. And this is, see, where the satellite is orbiting from the center of the Earth, right? Now, what is from year to year? That is 4,000, 4k. Okay, and then 25k. Now, what is the equation of the circles? It's a most easiest equation. It's x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square equals r square. Now, since it is in the center of the origin of the Earth, it will be 0, 0. So we just write this equation, x square plus y square equals r square. If at all there were coordinates given, the origin is at some specific point, h and k, then we have to use those points. But over here, it's in the origin, so it's just 0 and 0 over here, so we use this equation. But what is the radius now? From year to year, it is 4. Okay, this is also 4. And then we have 25,000. So 4,000 plus 25,000 would be 29,000 squared. We have to square this up. And then we have x squared plus y squared. Just put this in the calculator and you will get the answer. The equation would be for the part A of this question. Part B is to draw a sketch of the Earth and the orbit to scale. Label your sketch. Okay. So you need to just take a scale. Say I'll take 1,000 miles or 5,000 miles as 1 centimeter. Draw 5 centimeter line. Draw a radius. And over here it should be nearly 1 centimeter line. Draw a radius. Just rough figure is enough, you know. Draw 2 circles. This is 4,000. This is 25,000. And that's it. The total radius over here, that would be 29,000. And let's just see the sample answers. Here, this 8841 million is by squaring 29,000. I'll just show you now. I've just typed in 29,000 squared. That is 841 million. Yes, it's the same answer. And this is the graph over here. In the coordinate, just draw 2 circles. And you can tell this is the satellite, this is the Earth. And the radius is 29,000. So this is just a brief sketch, you know. Now, another similar problem. Suppose an unobstructed radio station broadcast could travel 120 kilometers. Assume the station is centered at the origin. Write the equation to represent the boundary of the broadcast area with the origin as the center. Now it's very simple. When it comes to circles, it's just x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Here, what is r squared? 120 squared. So this is all you need to do, because they have clearly told it's at the center, and that's the answer. If the transmission tower, over here it'll be the same. Okay. Now if the transmission tower is relocated 40 kilometers east, here because they have mentioned the directions, we have to know which is north, south, east and west. Above is always north, down is south, right is east and left is west. So they have told 40 kilometers east, so it's going over here 40, and 10 kilometers south over here 10 of the current location. Current was origin, right? Now we have to use this x minus h the whole square. It's x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square equals r square. And an increased signal will transmit signals an additional 80 kilometers. What is the equation that represents the new broadcast area? Here all you need to write is x minus what happens with the horizontal direction. It goes to the right, it's plus 40. So you just write 40 here. This is the first equation, plus. Now here it goes down, it's minus 10. This is minus, this is plus. Minus and minus will become plus here, whole square, and just square. Now here they have told 80 additional. It was already 120, so it is 200 square. So let's put this in the calculator. The first one over here is 14,400. You can see that's the answer. For the next one, you have to just do is 200 square, and that is 40,000. And the remaining thing is all right. Very easy one. Circles are generally very easy. Now this one over here is about concentric circles. Are circles with the same center but different radii. Refer to the graph at the right where AB, this is the line, is the diameter of the circle. Write an equation of the circle concentric with the circle at the right with a radius of 4 units greater. Now what you need to understand is, now they have told the center is same, but there is 4 more extra radius. So it's outer, bigger. So first what we will do is we'll find this radius, and then radius is 4 units greater, so we'll add 4 to that. So how we do that is, you can do it in different ways. We can find the distance formula here. I hope you remember the distance formula. It is square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Because you just can't measure it, it's somewhere in the center. If you look carefully here, can you just consider what is the exact point? Now I will guess it is from here. Then you can do a Pythagoras, but still it's so much complications, right? So this is the easiest method. Now just assume this as x1 y1 x2 y2. You can interchange these, you'll still get the correct answer. I'll do it. 3 minus of minus 5 will be plus 5 the whole square plus y will be 6 minus 2 the whole square, square root of this. Put it in the calculator directly, you'll get the answer. It's 8 square is 64 plus 4 square is 16. It will be 78 is square root 8 is the answer. This is the diameter. Now what is the radius? Square root 80 divided by 2 is the radius, half of it. Because the distance is the diameter, half of it is the radius. Now this is the radius. Now, can you see what is the center of the circle? You can find the center easily. You can count 2, 4. Y value is 4. And what is the x value? It is somewhere minus 1. So the center is easy to find out, but you can't find the radius by counting like this. It's a slant line. Now we know the radius, we know the center, but that is for the original circle. Now we need to do for the question A, the equation whose radius is more than 4. So now we know this is the radius of the circle. 8 root 80 by 2, just add 4 to it. This is the radius of the part A. Now we know the formula is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So I'm squared it up. And what is x squared and y squared? Now you need to remember to, write the centers as well. It's x minus h the whole square. Minus of minus 1 will be plus 1 the whole square plus y minus 4 the whole square. So this is the first equation. You can put this in the calculator, you'll get the answer. Next one, write an equation of the circle concentric with the circle at the right with radius 2 units less. I'll just write it out over here. X plus 1 the whole square plus y minus 4 the whole square equals. Here all you need to do is root 80 by 2 minus 2 the whole square. This is the answer. Graph the circles from part A and B on the same coordinate plane. Over here, if you have a compass, you can just take half of this radius. Not half. You have to just do this in the calculator and then draw that radius and one more radius. So that is how we would do it. Let's use our calculators and check these values. I've typed this out over here and the answer is 36 plus, let's see. Okay, they have written it like this, or you can just press SD. But this is the exact value. You can see for the first one, A. And for the next one, all you need to do is over here, subtract it by 2. So minus 2 would be the thing. It'll be, this is the answer. And this is the graph. This is the rough sketch of graph. This is the original. You can just put the center and graph the two circles. Here we have one more problem. This is the last one in this topic. Earthquakes. A stadium is located about 35 kilometers west and 40 kilometers north of a city. So first thing, north, south, east and west. Now they have told 35 kilometers west over here, so it will be minus left side. 40 north, that will be plus. Suppose an earthquake occurs with its epicenter about 55 kilometers from the stadium. Assume that the origin of the coordinate plane is located at the center of the city. Write an equation for the set of points that could be the epicenter of the earthquake. Basically over here what they mean is that's the radius, because over here they have given us the details of that particular stadium and it's 55 kilometers away, right? So that would be the radius. So all you need to do is x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square equals r square formula. So x minus, now over here will be plus 35 whole square plus y minus 40 the whole square equals r square is over here 55 square. Just put it in the calculator, you will get the answer. The square of 55 is 3025, so that is the answer you can see over here. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. This question is to graph the ellipses. It is from the lesson 6.3. Before we begin with the problems, let's look into the formulas. Here we can see the standard form. There can be two types depending on the orientation of horizontal and vertical. Let me just tell you what these means exactly. If the horizontal axis is the biggest axis of the ellipse, then it'll be something like this, the ellipse. And whatever is in the horizontal is x-axis. This will have the vertices. Whereas in the vertical axis, it's going to look something like this. It'll be along the y-axis. That's vertical axis, y. And this very important thing in the standard form, when it is along horizontal, x must be written first. X minus h the whole squared by a squared. Whereas if it is along the vertical axis, you can see y divided by a squared. Why does this k vary? See, this vertex is given by h comma k. Okay, vertices. Now here, this matters, because one vertex will be over here, another vertex will be over here. We will get to that in a while. You don't need to know all this information, but just remember, vertex is h and k. It's given as x and y axis. So whenever you're dealing with x, that is h value of vertex, whereas the y-axis will be along the k. So when I write the standard form for horizontal, it will be x minus, which is along x-axis, h the whole squared divided by a squared plus y minus k the whole squared divided by b squared equals 1. B is the distance between the co-vertices. Now these smaller values will be the co-vertex. It's not the entire distance, it's just from the center. From here, if we count the vertex and the co-vertex, that's it. Now we will see problems. You don't need to know all these by heart, but if you just remember the standard form and the orientation, that's more than enough. Let me show you how we can solve them. Since this is only in the electronic part, you know your four options, there'll be equations, right? Now what is this? This is the vertex because this is longer. So here vertex is 0 and 5 and co-vertex is 3 and 0, and obviously it will be minus 3 and 0 as well. Over here also it will be minus 5. The reason being the center is 0 and 0. When the center is 0 and 0, it's so easy. Why? Because you don't need to write minus h minus k. It just reduces to y squared plus x squared. Here it's a squared b squared equals 1. Why did I write y first? Because it's along the y-axis, isn't it? So now here, let's count from the center. It's how many units? It's 5 units easily, because each unit over here it's 2, 4 and 5. So what I need is 5 squared, it's going to be 25, plus what is x value from here? It's 2 plus 1, 3. So here it'll be 9. 3 squared is 9. X squared equals 1. This will be the answer. You just have to choose this correct answer. And that's it. What about the next one? Here the center is not 0. But you can easily find out which is the center. These points are given to you, the focus and everything, but you don't need all that. You just need the center. You can approximate the center to be over here. And there's another trick to remember for the center. Just let's see what is the co-vertex point. It is x value is 4. What is the y value? It is 0. And here the x value will be the same, but y value is negative 12. If you look carefully, there will be one of the values repeating in the vertex and co-vertex. So what is repeating in the vertex? It's minus 6. So this must have the center. Is the center? No, center is not given, but the center must have minus 6 along the y. And what is the repeating in the x? It's 4. So it's 4 comma minus 6. This is the center. So this will be there over here. And along which orientation is it? You can see it's along the x-axis. So x-axis first, minus, sorry, don't square it up, x minus h the whole squared by a squared plus y minus k the whole squared by b squared equals 1. Now let's substitute what we know. X, h is 4, but we have already minus. So just you can remember this. If it was positive 4 here, you put minus 4 the whole squared. And for y, it is minus 6. If it's minus, you put the plus 6 here, the whole squared. Divided by, what is a value now? You just have to count till the vertex. It's 2, 4. Let me just check here. It's 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 squared is 49. Here divided by, what is the co-vertex? It's 2, 4, 6. That is 36 equals 1. That's the answer. So here we should have x minus 4 the whole squared by 49 plus y minus 6, the y plus 6, because it was minus 6, it will become plus 6 divided by 36 equals 1. The best part in the ellipse is always the vertex will be bigger than the co-vertex, but it is not the same in the hyperbolas. In hyperbolas, the a value or b value, whichever can be greater, but in ellipses, a is always greater than b. The vertices are always bigger than the co-vertices. Now let's look at this problem. Here they have told vertices is so and so, co-vertices and so and so. But what if this was not given? They are just given graph only the points. What if it was a tough exam and only the 4 points are given and you need to find the equation of an ellipse? So in such case, what I would suggest is try graphing roughly at least. Now we have minus 2, it's somewhere over here, minus 2, and minus 6, I'll take it as over here. And then minus 2 and 4 somewhere over here. And then we have 1 and minus 1 just over here, and minus 5 and something over here. Looking at this orientation, I can tell it's a vertical orientation, right? But what if my obviously my graph is not to the scale. My drawing was so bad, imagine it was so bad that I just can't, I've drawn a circle sort of thing. How do you count is, look at the points, minus 6 to 4. What's the distance between them? Minus 6 and 4 will be 10. Whereas over here, minus 5 to 1, it's only 6 distance. So of course, this is the vertex. Now this is given over here, but if it was not given as well, you can tell these are vertex points. Minus 2 and 4 here, minus 2 and 6 here. Then we have minus 5. No, it's minus 5 and minus 1 here. And then we have 1 and minus 1. So these are the points. It's very easy to find the center. I'm not going to count anything midpoint or any of that. Just look which are the common values in x and in y. One of the set will have one common value. See, vertices has x common, that is minus 2. And over here we have minus 1. That's y value. Now just count from here to any of the vertex and the co-vertex. I'll just count here. It's minus 1, so 0 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the vertex. So here a squared will be 5 squared, that's 25. Plus, what about the co-vertices? From minus 2, I can count till 1, that is 1, 2 to 0 and 3. That'll be 9. What about this? It's along the y-axis, so it's going to be y. What is y value over here? Minus 1, but it'll be plus 1 the whole square. And over here, it's going to be x plus 2 the whole square equals 1. This is it. So easily you can write this equation. So this is the answer here. The same thing which we got. And last problem here, they have told vertices. Now I'll draw without drawing anything. I'm going to solve this without drawing. But if you draw it, it's much easier. So here we have phi and phi common. So I'm going to know the midpoint. The center is going to be phi, and over here 6 and 6, 6. So in the equation, I must look for, in the options, I must look for y minus phi the whole square. Which is bigger here? It's along the y-axis. Because the it's along the x-axis here. Why? Because the y value is constant. So here, the y value, imagine it's phi and phi, right? So it's gonna be here phi and 5. Only the x value is changing. It's along the x-axis. Okay, that's the reason we come to know. So you can memorize few things as well. It's better to draw the coordinate. Just draw it, will be much easier. But another thing to remember is if the y is constant, that means x is changing along the vertices. It's along the x-axis. So it should be x minus 6 the whole square plus y minus 5 the whole square. From the center we got these. Now what is the vertex A value? From 6, we are just count to any of this point. I either count it to minus 2 or to 14. From 6 to minus 2 or to 14, it should be the same. So from here, if we go 6 plus 2 is 8, or if we go from 14 minus 6, it will be 8. So 8 squared is 64. What about the co-vertices? Here we have to see not the x, it's done over here, x is done. Y value 5 along this 1 and 9. So what is the distance from year to year? It's 4. From year to year 4. It should be the same. Here also it's 8 and 8. The distance is same. Here also the distance must be same. It's 16. That is equal to 1. So this is how we can get the equations easily. Now even from the center, when you get this, you will have 4 options, isn't it? You can easily eliminate many options and you can conclude this is the answer. So that's how we solve it up. In this video, we will see how to write the equations of hyperbola. It's from the lesson 6.4. Here we will just quickly go through the formulas. These are the standard formulas. If the orientation is horizontal, that means two hyperbolas are like this. Vertical means something like this. These are the formulas. Here as well, similar to the ellipse. If it's horizontal, it's along the x-axis. X is first, divided by a squared. Y is next. What is the difference then? It's just the sign. This, if I put over here plus, it's an ellipse. Now it's an hyperbola when it's minus. Then what about this one? Same thing. Y minus k divided by a squared minus x minus h the whole square divided by b squared equals 1. Important thing to remember. Here a doesn't only be greater than b. It's not that case. Even b can be greater than a. But c is always greater than a and b. The c value. C is regarding the focus. There's one more formula which you must remember. It is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Another thing, instead of remembering entire equation, this is the equation for the asymptotes. It'll be y equals, there's another way to write it. Y equals, for horizontal, along x-axis, b by a. Then you have to write x minus h, that is the center, x value of the center, plus k. This is the way we write it. If it is along the vertical, entire thing remains the same. There is no change in this. Only change is a by b. That's the only difference. So whatever is the slope will be in terms of a by b, and this is going to be the same thing. So it's very easy to remember. Horizontal, remember, it's b by a. Vertical, a by b. So now then we will start solving the problems. Here we have the graph given. The center is 0, 0. Why? Because it should be in the middle. The vertex is middle with the center. It's over here 0, 0. So it's an easy equation to write. It's minus in between. It's along the vertical axis y. So y squared over here, x squared over here equals 1. And what else? What is the a value? A is towards the vertex, right? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, each unit is 2. So it's 2, 4, 6. A is 6. But the b value is not given. We don't know where is the co-vertex. But the focus is given. Can you see that? It's 2, 4, 6, 8. C is 8. So we have to use c squared equals a squared plus b squared formula. It's 8 squared equals 6 squared plus b squared. We can just put that directly in the calculator and solve. I wouldn't ask you to solve for b. Just solve for b squared itself, because the formula is a squared. Here below this y squared, it's 36, not 6. We do a squared, right? 36. Same way over here. Let's solve for b squared itself. 8 squared is 64 minus 36 is equal to b squared. That's going to be 30 minus 2. It's 28. This will be the final answer for the hyperbola. That is the equation. You can see it's y squared by 36 minus x squared by 28 equals 1. What about this problem? It's along the horizontal axis. Now, is the center same? One, yes, the center is same. It's 0, 0. It'll be x squared by something minus y squared by something equals 1. So what about this from here to here? It's 5. A is 5. What is C value? It's 7. So we have 7 squared. It's C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So 7 squared equals 25. I'll write 5 squared plus B squared. This is 5. So it'll be 49 minus 25 equals B squared. What will be the value here? It'll be 24 equals B squared. So the answer over here is 25 and 24. That's the final answer. It's x squared by 25 minus y squared by 24 equals 1. Here we have been told given the asymptotes, there is no a value. Can you see any a value? No. The center is 0. So let's first write the equation. Which type of equation it will be? It's going to be x squared because the center is 0, 0 minus y squared equals 1. And then what do we have? When we write this much itself, one of the option might be y squared minus x squared. So we can eliminate that option. So you can easily eliminate few of the options just by looking at the what is given. But we may not be able to eliminate all the options, so we need to solve it. Here it's along the horizontal axis. So remember, this part is b by a. Okay, whatever we have, it's always b by a, the slope. How about we just find the slope here? There will be two. One will be positive, one will be negative. What is the slope exactly? dy by dx, right? D is the difference along the y-axis. That is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. You have known this. This is the m value. That's the slope. But the slope for this horizontal oriented hyperbola is b by a. So b is along the y-axis. What is the y value here? It's 5. So b by a, x 5 by 8. That's it. So a is 8. Here I'm going to write 8 squared. That's 64. What is b value? It's 25. So this is the answer. But if at all it was vertically, then it would be a by b. A would have been 5 and b would have been 8. So you must be very careful in this. So here we can see the answer is x squared by 64 minus y squared by 25. That's equal to 1. What about this one now? Here just remember it's along the vertical axis, so it's a by b. That is equal to dy by dx. I'm just writing dy instead of writing x, y2 minus y1 and all that. Now here what's the formula? What's the point in the asymptote? X and y. Just take the y point first. That is 8 by 9. Here, look carefully. It is 8. That's the a value. B is 9. You do not need to have, a greater than b always. C or b is greater than a. So let's write the standard form. It'll be y squared, because the center is 0, isn't it? Y squared by, what is a squared? 8 squared. I'll write the full form itself. 64 minus x squared by 81 equals 1. So that is the final answer. You can see a squared is smaller than b squared here. What if the hyperbola is not at the center 0, 0? Then as well it's pretty easy, because you can easily figure out where's the center. Look at the vertex points. Vertex will always be given in such cases when the asymptote's not there. Let's see the center. It's 1, 2, 2.5. Yeah, it's 2.5. The actual way is not like just drawing like what I did. Look at the vertex. It's minus 2 and 8, right? Minus 2 plus 8 by 2. The answer will be 6 by 2. It's 3. So x value must be at 3. Minus 2 and 8. Midpoint of them. Add them and divide it by 2 gives you the midpoint. So the center h and k will be equal to 3. And what is the y value? See, y value is same throughout, right? The common y value is same. Whichever is not same, you just have to find the midpoint. This is minus 6. Because it's the same, we write the same. Even if you find the midpoint, minus 6 plus 6 divided by 2, it's going to be the, you need to add this. See, minus 6 plus of minus 6 by 2, it'll be minus 12 by 2. It's going to be minus 6. It's going to be the same thing, midpoint. So we got x and y. So what I would do is first I would write this. It's along the x orientation. So x minus 3 the whole square minus y plus 6 the whole square equals 1. And what is the a value? From here, from 3 to any one of the point, I'm going to take 8. See, it's 2, 4. Oh, each unit is, yeah, 2, 4. From 3 to 8, I'm talking about this point, right? 3 to 8, it's 5. 2, 4, 5. This is half of it. So 5 squared will be 25. Here we go. Now, what about the next point? But before going to that point, just by having so much information, you can look into your 4 options, eliminate all the wrong options, and you might get the correct answer because this is almost done. So most of the time, even without solving for the b squared, you can get the answer. So remember this. But now I'll find the b value as well. It's c squared equals a squared plus b squared, isn't it? What is the c value? From here, it's 3 to 9. It's 6, isn't it? You can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 squared is 36 equals 25 plus b squared. Now this goes to the other side. It will be 36 minus 25. It's 11 equals b squared. So answer will be divided by 11. That's the standard form. X minus 3 the whole squared by 25 minus, this is minus. If it was plus, it's ellipse. Y plus 6 the whole square by 11 equals 1. Let's look at this one over here. What's happening now? It's along the vertical orientation. So here y must be first, then comes x. But what is the center? Here x value of the center is easy to find because it's the common term, right? Minus 8. What is the other two? 8 and 0. Midpoint of 8 and 0 is 4. 8 plus 0 is 8. Divided by 2 will be 4. So here we go. Y value is 4. So it will be minus 4 the whole square minus x plus 8 the whole square. So we have found the top values. What about a value? From here, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be 16. What about the b value now? Find from year to year c, that is 64. I mean 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So c squared will be 8 squared. That's 64 equals, what is a squared? A value was 4 squared minus b squared. It's 16 squared minus b squared. Now, sorry, not 16 squared, 16. 4 squared is 16. Take it to the other side, it's going to be 64 minus 16. That is equal to b squared. And here we have 48 equals b squared. We just write 48. That will be the answer. Here as well. And don't forget equal to 1. Here it's very important. Equal to 1 must be there. But you can look into the options and easily remember there is equal to 1. Here as well, you can see a value, a squared value is lesser than b squared. But in ellipse, this can never be the case. It is always a squared bigger than b squared. But in hyperbola, it's not the same condition. What about this problem? We have asymptotes. Now here, the center is not 0, 0. See, we can find the a value from here. So what is the a value? But before a value, let's first find the orientation. It is y minus x, that is equal to 1. So this is what I would write. And then what is the center? Minus 4 is common. And what is the midpoint in this? See, they have already given the center, so you don't need to bother about it. In this case, when the asymptotes are there, they have given you the center, but still you can find minus 1 minus 9 will be minus 10 by 2. It's minus 5. So I'm going to fill this up. Here it's going to be plus 5 the whole squared. And here it's minus 4 the whole squared. What about the denominators? The denominator here will be a value. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16. 4 squared. But if you find so much, you can easily find the correct answer from the options. But you can't complete the equation. There's something missing, right? How do you find that? Now that can be found over here by this equation. See, this slope, the asymptote equation is given over here, but we know the formula as well. Let's take the positive one. It's along the vertical orientation. Y equals, for the asymptote, this is a by b times x minus h plus k. The formula is very important for you to remember. This is for the vertical. If it was horizontal, this will be b by a. So let me substitute what is known. Y will remain as it is. A by b, let it be. What is x value? Here x value also remains. Minus h. What is h? It's minus 4. So minus and minus will become plus 4 and minus 5. Now let's multiply this a by b inside. And do we know the a value? Yes, we know the a value as well. So we can substitute that in a minute. Now here y is equal to, what is a value? It is 4, not 16. A is 4. If you count over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 by b times x plus 4 times 4 is 16 by b minus 5. Now look carefully. B is a value. It can be 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, anything. So this is entirely a constant. It's a number that will be equal to this. And what is 4 by bx? Should be equal to 2 by 3x. Because this is the equation given to us. The final equation. So we don't know b. We'll equate those both. 2 by 3x must be equal to 4 by bx. X cancels. 2 1 time, 2 times. B goes to the other side and it will be 2 times 3, that is equal to 6. That is the answer. Here 6 squared is 36. So this is how we find B in this case. But even without B, most of the time you will get the answer because only 36 won't be there. All the other things can be easily found out from the given. Only for the B, you need to remember this equation. Once you multiply this 4 by b with x, that's it. Equated over here, whatever is there. You can put this in the calculator. Don't write x. 2 by 3 equals 4 by x in the calculator. The answer is 6. Because we can't take b as a variable in the calculator. You should take x. I'll show you in the calculator now. Over here, all you do is write 2 divided by 3. That is equal to, here, 4 divided by alpha x. Shift and solve. This is not the correct answer. You need to press equal to. It'll take some time. And then 6 is the correct answer. So it's 36. That'll be the final answer. Okay, it's not over here. You can see it's y plus 5 divided by a whole square divided by 16 minus x minus. Now I have missed out one thing. I've written minus here. My bad. It is plus because we have minus 4 as the center. It should be plus 4 divided by 36 equals 1. That's the correct answer. What if it's horizontal? It's the same thing. First, let's see, the center is given x plus 1 the whole square minus y minus 6 the whole squared divided by, what is over here? A value. Let's count from here. The a value will be 1, 2, 3. 3 is 9 divided by, this is unknown, equals 1. Just with so much information, look into the 4 options and deduce the correct answer. You can most of the time. But to find the b squared value, all you need to do is write the equation now. Y is equal to, here it is b by a x minus h plus k. Now I'll substitute whatever is known. B is unknown, but a value is known to be 3 because from year to year this is units of 3 units. X minus h is plus 1. It will be, because it's minus minus, will be plus 1 and plus 6. Now I'm not going to do everything, just focus on this part with x. It's b by 3x, that must be equal to, what is this? 7 by 3x. Now if you're thinking why not minus, this is actually 2 equations. This is one equation and one more equation will be minus b by a x minus h plus k. I'm just going to stick with the positive value, okay? The same slope will have minus as well. Don't look at the constant, just the slopes. So this is the thing here, b cancels 3 and 3. So b equals 7. That means here it will be 49. That should be the final answer. So here we have 49 because b is equal to 7, which we got. It's x plus 1 the whole squared by 9 minus y minus 6 the whole squared by 49 equals 1. That's how we solve it. In this video, we will solve real world problem using vectors. It's from the lesson 7.1. Here we have been told regarding aviation, an airplane is flying with an airspeed of 310 knots on a heading of 50 degrees. 050 means it is from the north. See, from the north, here 50 degrees. It's just more than 45, right? So that will be the plane. It's heading with 310 knots. If 78 knots wind is blowing from a true heading of 125 degrees, it's going towards north over here. Imagine this is the wind. The angle is 125 degrees, more than 90. So this must be 128 degrees. This was 50 degrees, all from north. Now determine the speed, the direction of the plane related to the ground. Okay, we need to find the speed and the direction related. That means we have to just resolve this vector. See now, this wind, right, is blowing throughout. It's blowing everywhere at the same direction, isn't it? So instead of writing it down, I'll just write it up over here. See, let me show it. This is the plane. This will be the wind. Wind is somewhat over here, going like this. So these two over here, the resultant will be this new vector, which is in little bold. That will be the resultant vector. If the plane is actually trying to fly here, where the wind is blowing, so it'll result over here, this one, this vector. So now my figures are not so clear. Let us just go to the figures over here. We'll understand much better. As you can see here, this was the plane, which is in blue. The red is the wind. Instead of drawing it over here, we can draw it the same thing over there. What is the angle? What is this angle exactly? See, this total angle is 125. But we know till the plane it is 50. So what is the remaining angle here? It's 125 minus 50, that's 75. This is 75 degrees. These are alternate angles. So if this is 75, this will also be 75 degrees. So this is 75 here. We want theta, this value, but we don't know that. We know total theta plus alpha over here given is 50 degrees. So what we need to do is, if we know this 75, we know this is 310, we know this is 78. We need to relate this and find this angle here. If you find this angle, then we can easily find this angle. That is one thing. And also we need to find this magnitude here. So how do we find that? 75 degrees. I know these two. This is the included angle. Now I remember cosine law of cosine. What does it say? Law of cosine is you can find any side. Imagine this opposite side of this angle, not any side, opposite angle. If you know one angle, the opposite side can be found out. Now this is given as G. Just remember, I'll take it as R, resultant, okay? So R square will be equal to the sum of these two sides. Now, it's not writing exam, so I'll directly write the values here. 78 squared plus 310 squared minus 2 times these two values, 78 times 310, cosine of what is this angle? Included angle, 75 degrees. So if you take the square root of this, you get R, the resultant over here. All you need to do is the square root. If you take square root, the square cancels, right? Just the square root. All you do is put it in the calculator. Square root, now let's type it out. 78 squared plus 310 squared minus 2 times 78 times 310 times cosine 75 degrees. Close the bracket. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Yes, it is in degree, so I can use 75. If it was in radian, imagine you had this R value here. Now the answer is wrong. So make sure press shift 4 and 3 or clear your calculator. The default mode is in degree. The answer is 299.44. So we got the magnitude of the plane. R is 299.44. So looking at the options, you can easily eliminate the wrong options and see which magnitude has 299.44. That is one of the correct answer. But we don't know the angle theta. We need to find the speed and the direction, isn't it? So speed is found out. R is the speed. The direction now, we need to find this direction, alpha. Then we can easily solve. See now what we know is, we know this distance. opposite angle can be solved. This is law of sines. See, I'll write over here. A, A. Angle A, this is side A. If you have B and this is B, then we have the formula sine A by A is equal to sine B by B. This is law of sines. See here, what do we know? We know, imagine the 75 degrees. So if I take sine 75 degrees divided by, what is this? 299.44. That will be equal to, what is the other angle? We don't know this. Let us find that out. Sine unknown angle. Okay, let me write it as B only. Divided by, what is this dimension? Magnitude 78. So put this in the calculator. You can find for B. But how do you put that is, you need to take 78 to the other side and then sine inverse. If you resolve this up, see what happens? 78 goes to the other side, right? I'll write sine B first. Let me write it over here. Sine B will be equal to 78 multiplied by sine 75 divided by 299.44. But how do you find the B? We need the angle. So you need to take sine inverse on both the sides. So it's going to be sine inverse of this entire thing. So I'll just put in the calculator and tell you the answer. Here, this answer was the magnitude of the speed of the plane. Now what you need to do is sine inverse of 78 times sine 45, sorry, sine 75 divided by, you can write it as answer because it's already saved over there, 299.44. And okay, we are getting an error. Sine inverse of sine, I've not closed the bracket. You can see here I've forgotten to close the bracket. That's the reason the error. The answer is 14.57 degrees. Here, this angle is 14.57. What is theta then? Total is 50, right? 50 degrees minus 14.57 will give you theta, because the total is 50. This much is known to be 14.57. Just do 50 minus the 14.57. The answer is 35.42. So here the speed is 299.44. The direction is for 15 point something. Okay, for 15.4, whatever we got it. Okay, yeah, it's 15.43. So that's how we solve it. Let's look at the answers. So this is how we solve it. Cosine rule. We got the same answer, 299.4. And then that is the speed. And then we have to find the angle. It is, I think so. Yeah, it is, sorry, not 15. What was I saying? It is 50 degrees minus 14.57. That is 35.4. Yes, exactly correct. So that is the answer. Now when we write it over here, because everything is originally given in terms of 035, 055 or something, we just write 35 degrees from north, isn't it? That direction was from north. So we write 035 degrees. Now in your case, you will have options. So just select whichever is approximately correct to 35.4. If it was 35.6, you might have 036 degrees. That's the correct answer. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this video, we will learn how to solve the magnitude of vectors. They have asked us to use the dot product to find the magnitude of the given vector. But since it's not in the writing part, we will just find the magnitude directly. Now, if you want to find the magnitude of a vector, it's very, very simple. The x coordinate and y coordinate of the matrices, just square them. Minus 3 the whole square plus 11 squared. There we go. That will be the answer. It will be square root of 9 plus 121. That's square root 130. That must be the final answer. You can see here, it's square root 130, or if you put it in your calculator, you'll get 11.4. But there are other things also. We can do it in the calculator directly. Let us see that. If you click on mode, you can see the option 8 is for vectors. Let's click on that. And now it asks for vector A. So let's click on 1. And what is the dimension here? It's 2 dimensions, so option 2. And type these vectors, -3 and 11. So here we go. And now press AC. Please don't go back to mode and 8 again. Just use shift, and if you look carefully above phi, it is a vector. Shift and phi. Now if you want to check what you had written for vector A, press 3 and equal to, you can see it's a -3 and 11. And what if you want to do some other thing? Say you want to find the dot product. Shift phi, 3, and I'll find the dot product of the same thing. How do we do dot product? It's not multiplying, that's cross product. Dot product is again shift phi. Can you see the option 7? It shows dot. And shift phi, again the same thing, 3. Here is the dot product, it's 130. Now here that's the dot product, it's just 130, but for magnitude you have to use the square root. But what if you want to find the magnitude directly? If you press shift and phi, can you see anywhere magnitude? No. But what is magnitude? It's shift and HYP. That's absolute value. That is the magnitude. Now press shift phi 3, close the bracket. The answer is 11.401. That is square root 30. See, now if you just take the answer, let's press AC, answer. Okay, it doesn't come over here. But if you go back to the computation mode as well, it doesn't work. But this is the exact value of root 30. I'll show you over here. Square root 130 will be 1 point. It's the same thing, 11.401 and so on. Now, if you want to find magnitude directly, let's do this in the calculator itself. First, we need to go to mode 8, put in the first vector 1, and it's 2 dimensions, so it's -3, and we have -4. Now, once you press equal to, when it's saved, press AC, shift HYP, that is hyperbolic functions, but when you press shift and press that, you'll get absolute value. Then shift phi, which vector is it? Vector A, option 3, close the bracket, the answer is 9.84. So this is how we can easily solve all the problems. Now, if you want to write it in square root, there is a way. Let me go over here. Let me do this. If you want to write in terms of square root only, you don't want it in 13.4. Then what you can do is, let's again, since I'm saving a new vector, I can just go to mode, no problem, like this. 1, 2, and we have 6 and 12. So when you do it for the first time, when you're inputting the first matrix, it's fine, you can go to mode. But if you have to do one more matrix, then you have to go to shift phi and then dimensions and do the second one. Now, what if you wanted the dot product, wanted this value, right? Just do the dot product. That is 3, shift phi 7, shift phi 3, and this will give you the dot product, whatever is inside the square root. So this is how we do it. Otherwise, if you're just doing shift HYP, then shift phi, and then you press this, close the bracket, it'll give you 13.4, which is the exact value. Similarly, please do solve these others. They are very, very simple. There's nothing difficult in this. Just saving, they're all the same. Let me do this 15th one. Mode 8, 1. Look at the dimension. If it was 3 dimension, you choose option 1, but it's only 2, so I'll choose option 2 and then type it out, equal to -16, equal to, press AC, shift phi. Now, what if I've already written this? It's fine. Then just go back, shift HYP, and then close the bracket. That'll be the answer. It should be 28.01. Now, they have just taken nearest 10th here. You can just look into the options. If this was given, that's absolutely fine. Just put this in the calculator and see what answer you got. Whichever matches, that'll be the final answer. In this video, we will learn about vector projections and to write vectors as sum of two orthogonal vectors. It's from the lesson 7.3. Here we have been told to find the projection of the vector u onto v. Very important thing, because it's projection u onto v. V is written as the subscript. This down part, down below it, u is the main thing. The formula is given like this. See, first thing is you have to find the dot product of u and v divided by, though we are finding projection of u onto v, What does that exactly mean is like this. Imagine this is, let me draw two vectors. Imagine this is the vector u, this is vector v. We are going to find the projection of this vector onto v. So v is involved more. So v magnitude square and then we multiply it with vector v itself. This is just scalar multiplication with vector v. This is the formula. And then they have told write it as sum of two orthogonal vectors. Now imagine this vector, we get it as w1. We write the other one as w2. The sum of these two, because it's 90-degree, right? Orthogonal vectors means. So we have to write u as the sum of these two vectors. So that is the second part. First part is this. Now since it's the electronic part, I'm just going to use calculators and solve it and I'll show you. But this is the formula. You can just use the formula and use the u dot product v, magnitude of v squared, and multiply it as scalar with vector v. What is u exactly? Here it is given as 3 and 6. J is y coordinate, x is I coordinate. What about the vector v? It is -5 and 2. So with so much, we can easily solve it up. We can write it as x1, this as y1, x2, y2 if need be. Now in the calculator, all you need to do is vector, mode vector, and solve it up. Yeah, first we need to click on mode and then option 8 gives you vector. We have to fill in first vector directly, that is option 1. Let's put in the vector A. It's 2 dimensions, so option 2, and now it's 3 and 6. Press equal to once you type the numbers. Press AC, don't go back to mode anymore. Press shift 5. You can either choose dimensions or data. Data is to know what is the vector, but it also can fill in new matrices, vectors. But the best one would be go to option 1 to put in new vectors. Which vector? We have already saved one, so don't click on that. Go to second, vector 2. And then how many dimensions? 2, -5 and 2. Here we go, press AC. You can put everything together in the calculator from here. Now we have saved both the vectors. You can just put everything, solve the value and multiply it with v. But other than that, I will tell you solving individually gives you more detail and generally the options will be like that. I will show you how to solve it individually. Just do u dot product v now. Shift phi dot product of u, that is option 3, shift phi 7 is for dot product, shift phi 4. What's the dot product? It's -3. So let us write over here. I'm just going to write the projection. V is the subscript and u, projection u onto v. So the dot product is -3 divided by, what is the magnitude of v? So let's clear it off. Shift HYP gives you the absolute value, then shift phi. The second vector was vector b. Close the bracket. Now this is the answer, but we need the square of it. So what we do is we just, square this up. Okay, absolute value vector b, the whole square, it's 29. So let me write over here 29. And what is vector v? Vector v is -5, 2. Now all you need to do is multiply this -29 to -5 and this -3 by 29 to 2. That's it. I'm just going to write it over here. It'll be +15 by 29. That's the first. And the second one will be 6 by 29. So that'll be the answer. Since 29 is a prime number, you cannot factor this out. It'll be in fractions itself. So that is the vector projection of u onto v. So this is the answer. That's the projection. But here we have to write it as the sum of two vectors, isn't it? So what does this mean? I hope the first part is clear. Directly from the calculator, we get these two values and then we multiply. You can use calculator to multiply this as well. Now, what do we do for the next part? This projection, whatever we got, is W1. I'll write it as W1. This is the projection here. What about W2? I don't know, but U will be equal to W1 plus W2. So how can I find W2? Just subtract W1 from U. That is, U is 3 and 6, right? Subtract W1, that is 15 by 29 and 6 by 29. That will be answer for W. So 3 minus, we need to use our calculators here. So what do we have? Let me go out of the vector to computation mode. It'll be easy to compute. It's 3 minus, because this minus is there, right? And I forgot to write minus here. It's minus 3 times 2. It's minus 6. Here also it's minus 6. Here 3 minus 15 divided by 29. That is 72 by 29. So W2 would be 72 by 29. The next one would be 6 minus of minus would be plus. So I'll just write it over here. 6 plus 6 again. Divided by 29. The answer is 180 by 29. The answer 180 by 29. And now we have got W1 and W2. The sum, writing the sum of two orthogonal vectors would be writing W1 plus this one. Let's look into the options. You don't need to write it all together. You can just see the first one, 15 by 29 minus 6 by 29 plus what we just now found, 72 by 29, 180 by 29. Here almost always the options will be in terms of fractions. It won't be a decimal value. If you have got decimal value, say over here this is about 0.5, it's a little around 0.51 or something. But if you got 0.51, if you solve this in your calculator, 15 divided by 29, you will get 0.51. So you can verify using your calculator, but it's better to leave it in fractions. Let's solve one more problem. Let's do this one. What you need to remember, the same question, projection U onto V is given by the dot product of these both and V magnitude square, and then we just multiply this with the vector V. Using the calculator, we can find them individually. Let's use the calculator and solve. Let's go to mode 8 for vectors. Let's put in the first vector, that is option 2, 5, 7. Once it's done, press AC, shift 5. Dimensions for the second vector, it is minus 4 and 4. Then press AC. Now we will find the dot product, shift 5, vector A, dot product, vector B. The answer is 8. So what I'll do is, I'll take this as W1 because anyways we have to write as sum of two orthogonal vectors, right? So W1 will be 8 divided by, what is the magnitude here? That is square of magnitude. So shift, open the bracket, shift HYP gives you absolute value. Shift 5 gives you the vector B. If you press 4 here, close the bracket twice and then square it up. The answer is 32. So 8 by 32. You can just put 8 by 32 in the calculator and what happens? You will get 1 by 4. So 8 divided by 32 equals 0.25 or 1 by 4. If you go out to computation mode, now when you press the value, it will come in fractions or ST. You can do it decimal or fractions. So the answer over here is 1 by 4. But what is vector V? That's minus 4 comma 4. So this is equal to 1/4 of minus 4 comma 4. You don't need a calculator to multiply these. It's just minus 1 and 1. So this is the vector projection of vector U onto V. Now we have to write this vector U in terms of W1 plus W2. But we don't know W2. We know W1 and we know U. So it'll be 5 and 7 minus 1 and 1. That will be W2. So what we do is 5 minus of minus will be plus 1. It's going to be 6. 7 minus 1 will be 6. So this is the answer. So we have to write as sum of these both. It's basically minus 1 and 1 plus 6 comma 6. So in your exam, if they just ask you projection of V onto U onto V, this is the final answer. If they ask write it as sum of two orthogonal vectors, then this is the answer. So be careful Look into the options and then see the correct answer, solve for the correct answer. Here, see, this is the answer. Then we have to write it as project sum. So it's 6 and 6. Similarly, please do the problems. These are just the same, only the values have changed. There is no difference in any of these problems. Whenever we have been given as I and j, write the coefficients as x and y. This will be 6 and 1 because there's nothing here. And over here we have -3 and 9. That's how we write it. So, and then you can solve it up. Let's look into other problems here as well. That is very simple and straightforward. Even over here, you can directly see these are the answers. Even the previous ones, there you might get over here fractions, or you might get decimal. So don't worry, here it is just 1 point something, Imagine you got the values as 1.1 something. Don't worry, just put this in the calculator and check which is your correct. You will have 4 options like this. There'll be 4 options. Just start solving and compare which matches your answer. So that's how we can get the correct answer here as well. And let's do the last problem. How about the 32nd? This is also very simple. All are same. There is no difference at all. Now I'll solve this one. U will be equal to -2 minus 5. And V is equal to 9 and 7. So the projection of U onto V is given by the dot product of U and V, magnitude of V squared. This entire thing is multiplied by the vector V. For the dot product, for the magnitude, it's so easy in the calculator. So let's stick to the calculator because it's the electronic part. Here all you do is mod 8. And then let's put in the vectors. First vector is -2 and -5. So this is 5, not 8. And press AC. For the next one, press Shift 5. Let's go to the dimensions of the second vector. It's 2 dimensions and it is 9 and 7. Now, both the vectors are saved. Shift 5, select the first vector. Dot product is Shift 5 and option 7. And Shift 5 option 4 for the second vector. It's -53. So the dot product, write W1, will be -53 divided by, what is the magnitude? It'll be, open the bracket, Shift H5P for the absolute value, and Shift 5, put in the second vector, close the bracket twice and square it up. It's 130. So here we have 130. Now then, we have to just multiply it. Let's go back to the computation mode. It is -53 divided by 130 multiplied with 9. So this is the value. Let me just look into the answers. Yeah, that's very weird, but anyways, it's huge values. It's 9 and 7. I hope in the exam you'll get simpler values, If you know the method, it's more than enough rather than having these huge values. The W1 would be -477 by 130. And the next Y coordinate would be just multiply it with 7 here. So that's the answer. It'll be -371 by 130. So now this must be written as sum of 2 vectors. How do you find that? You can directly find it out. What is U vector here? It is -2 subtracted with this one, -477 divided by 130. Then close the bracket. That's one answer. It's 217 by 130. And the last answer will be, over here we have -5. So this will be -5 subtracted from -371. So we have to write 371 divided by 130. The answer is 279 by 130. So it's -279 by 130. So that should be the answers. Here you can see these are the correct answers what we got, the projection, and these are the final answers as sum of the 2 orthogonal vectors. Using the calculator, it makes all the calculations so easy. You can stick to the calculator method for the electronic part. In this video, we will learn how to solve three-dimensional vectors algebraically. This is a simple topic here. You have been given the vectors, the component forms of vector A, B and C. You have to do scalar multiplication of vector A by 6. This minus 7 is multiplied with B and so on. So you can directly take a calculator and start multiplying them directly instead of writing it out. So everything is multiplied by 6 here. It will be minus 30 and then we will have minus 24 and lastly there is 18. That is the first component, that's 6a. Then plus, just multiply this minus sign inside. It will be minus 42, minus 14, this minus and minus becomes plus. Even over here, minus and minus becomes plus 49. And then lastly, we have 8 to be multiplied. It is going to be negative 16, 16 and 32. So these are the answers. But this is not the simplified one. Then you need to add all the x terms, y terms and z terms. Here you will have 30, 72, 82, 88. Minus 88 is the first component. Same thing you need to do for the others. Over here we have 20, 30. It will be positive 6. And lastly we have 49 plus 32. That is 81, 91, 99. So that is the answer for the first one. Same way please do it for the others. Just use a calculator and multiply, that's it. Even over here it's simpler because there's only 7 times a minus 5b. Do it up and then you will get the answers. So this is how we do these. And same thing over here, the same values are there. And now over here you can see they have given in terms of I, j and k. But the component form can be directly written over here. X component form is minus 9. The coefficients only 4 and 3. Then y is over here 6, minus 2, minus 7. And lastly z is minus 2, 2 and 4. Use the same method over here then. 7 times this entire, all the terms, plus 6 times the entire terms over here, and add them up, you will get the answers. So this is how we basically solve these. Okay, now since they have given in terms of I, j, k, remember, after you solve it up, write the x term as I, j and k. The coefficients, the answers will be the coefficients of I, j and k. The easiest of all. And that is the end of all the electronic part questions. I hope you have found these videos helpful. And if you can do a huge favor to me, that is by sharing these videos with your friends who also can benefit from it. All the advanced grade videos, EoTs and lesson explanations are available. Please do share it for those who can benefit. And also if you could subscribe to my channel or like these videos, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I wish you all the best for the exam.